This tiny pill has saved millions of lives. It's been around for over 120 years. Doctors trust it. Pharmacies sell it everywhere. But here's the part most people don't know. That same pill can quietly increase your risk of internal bleeding without warning. So the real question is aspirin protecting you or putting you at risk? Let's break it down like a pharmacist would. Aspirin, also known as acetylsalicylic acid, is one of the oldest drugs still in use today. First developed in 1897 by scientists at Bayer, it quickly became a global staple. Today, it's everywhere. Headaches, fever, body pain. But that's not what made aspirin legendary. What made aspirin revolutionary was its ability to affect your blood. Inside your bloodstream, you have tiny cells called platelets. Think of them as emergency responders. When there's a cut or injury, platelets rush in, stick together, and form a clot to stop bleeding. That's normal. That's survival. But here's the problem. Sometimes platelets get too active. Inside your arteries, especially if you have cholesterol buildup, platelets can stick to plaque and suddenly form a clot. That clot can block blood flow to your heart or brain. That's a heart attack or a stroke. And this is where aspirin changes the game. Aspirin blocks an enzyme called COX-1, which reduces a chemical called thromboxane A2, the signal that tells platelets to clump. Translation: aspirin makes your blood less sticky. But here's where it gets scary. Because the same process that saves your life can also quietly put you at risk. Let me show you how. Now let's talk about plaque. Plaque is made of fat, cholesterol, and inflammatory cells that build up along your artery walls. Over time, it narrows the space for blood flow. But the real danger isn't the blockage itself. It's when plaque ruptures. When that happens, your body panics. Platelets rush in, clots form instantly. That's when things turn deadly. Here's the key point most people miss. Aspirin does not remove plaque. Aspirin does not clean your arteries. What it does is reduce the chance that a clot forms on top of that plaque. That's why aspirin is often prescribed for people who've already had a heart attack, a stroke, or known cardiovascular disease. This is called secondary prevention, and the data is strong. Studies show aspirin can reduce the risk of a second heart attack by up to 25%. From a pharmacist's perspective, aspirin is incredibly powerful, but only in the right patient. Aspirin is most useful for people who have already had a heart attack, have had a stroke or mini-stroke, have known coronary artery disease, have stents placed in their arteries. In these cases, a low-dose aspirin, 81 mg daily, can be life-saving. Because here, the benefit of preventing clots outweighs the risk of bleeding. Now this is the part most people get completely wrong, and it's why millions are taking aspirin when they shouldn't. Now this is where things get uncomfortable. For years, people believed aspirin was a harmless daily protection pill. That belief has changed. Today, major organizations like the American Heart Association say routine aspirin use for healthy people is not recommended anymore. Why? Because aspirin doesn't just prevent clots. It also prevents your body from stopping bleeding. That means higher risk of stomach ulcers, gastrointestinal bleeding, brain hemorrhage. In some studies, aspirin increased major bleeding risk by up to 40 to 50% in low-risk individuals. So if you're taking aspirin just in case, you might be taking a risk without real benefit. From a pharmacist's lens, these are red flags. History of stomach ulcers or bleeding age over 70 without cardiovascular disease. Low cardiovascular risk, use of blood thinners like warfarin. Children or teenagers with viral infections. Risk of Ray's syndrome. Aspirin is not a just-in-case drug, it's a targeted therapy. Here's the truth most people never hear at the pharmacy counter. Aspirin is both a lifesaver and a silent risk. The difference comes down to one thing: who is taking it and why. Medicine isn't about what a drug can do. It's about whether it's right for you. So next time you see this tiny pill, don't underestimate it. Because aspirin doesn't just affect pain, it affects your blood, your arteries, and your survival. If you're currently taking aspirin or thinking about it, talk to a healthcare professional first. And if you want more science-backed truths about everyday medications, Subscribe to The Inner Human, where we break down what your body really goes through.